I've spent a lot of time thinking about whether or not I should actually tell this. See, I usually keep my personal life locked in a vault, guarded by lasers, and maybe a very confused guard dog. So this is a first for me. As you can tell, this isn't a how to draw guide or a milestone video. This is some serious piping hot tea that I'm about to spill all over the floor. This is also something that I've kept my mouth shut for years because my career literally depended on it. But if we're going to be honest about what it actually means to be a creator, an artist, then I need to open this door, even if the hinges are a little rusty. I probably need a crowbar for this. People love the word gifted. They've been throwing it at me since I was 5. Whether I was drawing, sculpting, or doing origamis as a 10-year-old, the label was always there, but here's what I've learned from my experience. Gifted is usually just a verbal shrug. It's an excuse people use to explain away your hard work so they don't have to feel bad about not doing it themselves. I know it sounds harsh, but listen. Oh, he's so gifted. Sounds way better than, oh, he spent 10,000 hours alone in a room instead of touching grass. They made it sound like I woke up one morning, stretched, and accidentally painted a Mona Lisa like before breakfast. Well, I didn't. And look, I know there are examples of truly gifted individuals. Just look at William James Sidis. That guy was reading the New York Times newspaper at 11 months old, developed a new table of logarithms based on the number 12, went to Harvard at age 11, mastered over 40 languages and dialects in his lifetime, and in his 1925 book, The Animated and the Inanimate, Sidis explores the reversibility of the second law of thermodynamics, proposing that life might reverse entropy, and hinting at the existence of what are now known as black holes. Spoiler alert, I'm not built like that. The reality is way less poetic. I spent decades in a room by myself, failing until I didn't. And whether or not it's true, this gifted label creates a toxic double standard. When I won, people said, well, of course, he has the gift. They gave credit to some magical DNA I was born with, not the years of practice. But when I failed, wow, he's not trying hard enough, or he lost his spark. In this world, your talent gets the credit for your wins, but you take the full weight of the losses, and naturally it messes with your head. You start living in a dream world, socially checked out, because the real world feels like it was built on rules you weren't invited to learn. And that brought out one of the biggest issues in my life. See, while I was in my fantasy daydreaming world, I ended up with a significant lack of technical life skills. You know, like how to make friends, or how to keep your friends, or when do you engage in a conversation with a new group of people, and how not to launch yourself like a cannon amidst their chit-chat. And this lack of technical skills hits you like a freight train when you start working. Which is the reason why I'm making this entire video. Let me take you back a few years. I was freelancing as a storyboard artist for agencies that were filming big budget commercials. There were times where I would draw up to 100 frames in a day or two. To give you some perspective, one cleanly contoured storyboard frame, on average, takes about 15 to 20 minutes to draw. 17, just to average out, times 100 comes out to 1,700 minutes, divided by 60, which is an hour, and we get about 28 hours. Agencies would randomly call me to schedule a meeting at the office. I'd sit in a room with a director and a few random people whose jobs were probably vibes consultant and director's cousin. I would sketch on the spot like a human AI generator before AI was even a thing, and it gave them an impression that because I could do it so quickly, it was an easy thing to do. They didn't see how long it took me to get to this point and how I've perfected my skill. They just saw a gifted guy who didn't need sleep, who was eager to earn some cash, and so they used me to my absolute limit. Now you might be thinking, oh boo-hoo, you had such a hard time drawing sketches and doodling or whatever, like seriously. Well, I became seriously sleep deprived, I couldn't plan things due to how spontaneously I would get called to draw these storyboards, and I almost developed carpal tunnel, which is a very nasty thing if you Google what it is. And on top of all of this, things got shady and downright deplorable. At the peak of my mental and physical destruction, the main agency I worked with in those days started deducting a noticeable percentage from my paycheck. That's odd. I give them frames. Frames cost this much. I calculate. I see the total and compare it to my paycheck. Oh, the math is not mathing for some reason. And it's not like I was asking for a standing ovation. I just wanted to be paid for what I did. How crazy is that? But guess what? When I spoke up about this to my superiors, all of a sudden I wasn't talented anymore. I was too much to deal with in their words. And ever since that day, they stopped booking me. That is literally what happened. They didn't say it to my face, so how do I know this gossipy, hot, scolding, syrupy goodness? Well, shit. After everything that happened, 6 years go by, and the tea finally spilled. My brother called me. He found out through a friend who was chatting with a person who used to work in that same agency, and he literally told him that the company's accountant had been skimming pay from every freelancer that worked for this agency, including yours truly, the whole time. And the worst part? Everybody knew. The directors, the staff, they all knew this accountant was a thief. But see, the thing is, the accountant was fun. He bought everybody drinks and snacks, joked with the staff, always put a smile on his face. He played the social game, you understand? I was just a guy in the corner making drawings as fast as humanly possible, making the company look good, and not really interacting with anyone, not socializing. So they decided to drop me because it was easier to do that than confronting the guy they liked hanging out with. The chill dude, the affable coworker. So what's the moral of the story? People would rather choose a likable thief over a difficult artist almost every single time. That's the reality of the gift. It doesn't protect you necessarily. Quite the opposite. Sometimes it makes you a target for people who think you're too busy dreaming to check the math. So if people are calling you gifted, or if you're in the middle of that midnight grind, be aware. Don't let them erase your hard work and take advantage of your skills. This path might get lonely, and sometimes it's downright unfair, but at the end of the day, it's your path. You don't have to share it with an unethical accountant or a client who doesn't see you for who you are. Take that obsession, that hard-earned skill, and build something that belongs to you. So do not stop here. You just have to start building your own path. I believe in you, you silly goobers. Thank you for watching. This was a story time-esque video, a first one on our channel, so I hope you liked it. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when we upload the hot and piping tea. And we'll see you in the next one. Oh, huh?